all of these things from AI. And if I'm able to keep myself in good enough health, I'm going to intercept these, and it's going to buy me the next 20 years. And during that time, there are going to be additional breakthroughs that will buy me the next 20 years. If you want that, if you love life and you want to see what's coming in the next, century, there's good reason for you to take care of yourself.
What does that look like?
Taking care of yourself right now, there are things that people need to be doing. And I wrote a book that just came out called Longevity, Your Practical Playbook. I just wrote a book last year with Tony Robbins called Life Force. We did a conversation about that.
Great book.
And it's 700 pages, and it's amazing. And very few people get through a 700-page book. So I wanted to write a very practical book that looks at and says, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I think is science backs. And I put it into a few very simple chapters. Number one, what to do about diet, because there are fundamental things. We can come back to that. Sleep, exercise, like the most important thing, right?
You think exercise is more important than diet?
And I'll come back to that. So they're all important. Diet, sleep, exercise, mindset, super important. Not dying from something stupid, which I call doing your upload at Fountain, like knowing what's going on inside your body, and then meds and supplements. So the book looks at that. I actually, I made a reduction, that was the word, a reduction of that into what I call my practical, Peter's longevity practices, which I have a copy over there, which is free for people. It's a 25, 30-page, like, this is what I'm doing and why.
At Diamandis.com?
At Diamandis.com/longevity. And you can get my book there. You can get this PDF download, and it's very definitive. So listen, there's no one diet for everybody. I've been a vegan. I've been a keto diet. I'm mostly Mediterranean, but the things I've discovered is, number one, sugar is a poison. Minimizing your sugar and why. Whole plants are critically important. Even the order in which you eat your food matters. Mm-hmm. Like if you're given, you go out for dinner at a restaurant, when they bring you the bread and the wine, ask them to bring it back during the dinner course. If you're going to eat the bread, at least dip it in olive oil first to blunt
glucose absorption.
We're talking about not spiking your glucose immediately, right? Which is the worst thing you can do. It really drives you to.
So why bring it back? Is it eating proteins first?
So what you want to do is, on your plate, eat your vegetables first. If it's asparagus, if it's broccoli, if it's a salad, the fiber slows down your digestion. Eat your protein next, and then eat your carbs last. Mm. It slows down your sugar spike. It actually allows you to absorb the best nutrients out of your plate of food first. So even making that small, you'll lose weight, you'll get better nutrition, and you'll actually feel full having eaten the best stuff first. Right? So it's just a really small trick that I'm just like, once I learned that, I was like, okay, I need to tell everybody about that. It's just small. The order in which you eat your food matters, right? So there's a whole bunch about diet there. Exercise is probably the single most important thing. I have stepped up my exercise from like 2 or 3 days a week to 5 days a week.
Your physique has changed dramatically.
Yeah. I've added muscle. I mean, it's my goal to add muscle. Muscle is one of the most important pro-longevity parts of your life.
Are you doing TRT?
I am. I do take a certain amount of testosterone, and it's simply, I don't actually feel different. I am taking a small amount of testosterone simply to support muscle growth.
Do you base it on blood levels?
I do.
What do you steer towards?
I'm staying in like 800 range, and sometimes up to 1,000. But
does it increase your libido?
It doesn't. It doesn't impact
It
doesn't touch my libido.
What?
My libido is fine, but I don't feel, if I'm off it or on it, It doesn't make a difference. And, people who've got, I don't think I exhibit grouchy old man syndrome. So I'm like the most positive person I know.
No doubt.
But I'm using it specifically for supporting muscle mass, but then I'm doing 150 grams of protein a day. I'm having creatin. I'm taking amino acid supplementation. I'm focused on adding muscle mass. As you grow older, adding muscle becomes harder and harder.
Yeah.
And one of the unfortunate mechanisms that a lot of people die as they go into their 70s and 80s, I'm 62 right now, is you fall because of muscle weakness. You break a pelvis or a hip, you end up in the hospital. It's painful to breathe. You get a pneumonia and you're down for the count, right? It's happened to my dad, happens to a lot of people. And the survival rate post a hip or pelvis fracture, if you're over 70, is like really low. So you don't want to do that. You want to maintain muscle mass. It also maintains your stem cell population and your blood in your muscle. So there's an interesting